viewers, it's my Minute IAS Academy and today we are going to see agriculture. Agriculture is very important for UPSC Civil Service exam because in each year you can expect around 2 to 3 questions from agriculture. In last year they asked around 5 to 6 questions from agriculture. They asked certain questions relating to economy related agriculture concepts and certain questions from environment related agriculture concepts, but for sure you can expect at least 1 or 2 questions from agriculture, either from economy or from environment. So today we are going to see economy related agriculture concepts. We are going to see minimum support price, procurement price, and schemes relating to agriculture, Prime Minister Kisan scheme, and certain other schemes which are relating to agriculture to improve the farmers, the acts, and also we are going to give a focus on recent agricultural practices. Everything we are going to focus on this video, so watch this video till the end. So let's get started. First, agriculture. The share of employment in agriculture in India is actually very high. India is an agrarian society in which many number of people are employed in agriculture. Actually, in olden days, during independence period, more than 50% of the people, around 70 to 80% of the people are employed in agriculture. During independence time, around 80% of the people are employed in agriculture. They are dependent on agriculture either directly or indirectly, but now it has changed. The share of employment in agriculture is constantly declining as per World Bank report. As per World Bank report, the share of employment in agriculture is constantly declining, and in 1991, the share of employment in agriculture is 64%, and in 2011 it is 55%, and in 2018 it is 42%. So the share of employment in agriculture is constantly declining in India. Why? Because there is a growth in tertiary sector. Tertiary sector is nothing but service sector. There is a growth in service sector, and also the literacy rate. We are getting literacy, we are getting education. Because of this, more people are getting employment in service related sectors. Because of this, the share of employment in agriculture sector is getting declined as per World Bank report. And another one thing relating to agriculture is the GDP. The GDP contribution to agriculture. So the agriculture contributed around 51% in 1951. In 1951, in India's GDP, agriculture alone contributed around 51%. But in 2015, it is 17.7%, and in 2018, it is 17%. The share of contribution, agriculture's contribution towards India's GDP is also constantly decreasing. So generally for GDP, the highest contribution is from tertiary sector because of the growth in tertiary sector. In tertiary sector, we have IT companies, we have tourism, transportation, everything comes in a service sector. Because of this growth in tertiary sector, the share of GDP contribution to agriculture has also decreased. These are the basic things which are relating to agriculture which you should know. So the agriculture in India is actually decreasing. First point. And also the issues relating to agriculture, we have certain issues which lead to this reduction, and we can see those issues. First, actually always the Prime Ministers of India will give focus to agriculture because they know our India is an agrarian society. They all know, so they give focus on agriculture more. The former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh said that our agriculture growth should be 4% additional. Our agriculture should have additional 4% growth, he said. And after this, our current Prime Minister, he said that farmers' income should be doubled. They set these things as targets, and always all Prime Ministers will give focus to agriculture because many people are employed in agriculture. Around 50%, say now around 40% of the people are employed in agriculture, and the rest 60% is only employed in other sectors like manufacturing sector and tertiary sector. In other sectors, only 16% people are employed, and mostly these 40% people are poor. Because of this, there might be increase in gap between the rich and the poor. So by increasing the by making this agri people strong enough, we can bring equality in the society and equity in the society. So because of this, many our prime ministers, our chief minister, everyone will give focus on agriculture. So this is the major reason why relating agriculture we have many schemes. Relating agriculture we have many schemes compared to that of any other sectors. Comparing to manufacturing sector or tertiary sector, relating agriculture we have many schemes, and this is the reason for that. And relating agriculture we can divide the agriculture into three. First one is input. Last one is we have output. In the middle we have generally production and processing. First one is input. What are the things which come under input? We have a land, and in that land we are going to produce agricultural products. We are going to do farming. So land is one input, and to sow the seeds, we need seeds, right, to grow something. So seed is another one, and we have water. Water is also an input which is needed to do farming. So water, and apart from this we have fertilizers, pesticides, those things. So these are the basic input which we need to do agriculture. We will be seeing things relating to these things, and relating output we have Neem. To sell, output is something to sell this agriculture produced. We produce something, we harvested, and after harvesting we need to sell it. So we have Neem, and we have APMC, we have support price, minimum support price, procurement price, we have issue price. We will be discussing about all these things, and we will be discussing schemes relating to all these three. Okay, let's start. First, in input, first one is we have land. So relating land, in India we have 17% of the population in the world, and we have 2.5% of the land area. In this 2.5% of land area, we have 4% of water. So this 4% of water in the world is used by 17% of the population that India is having, and 2.5% of the land is only India having. So this you should know. In this 2.5% of land area, what we actually suffer now is land fragmentation. So what is this land fragmentation? It is nothing but if there is a family, earlier there is a joint family system in which 10 or 15 people or 20 people lived together and owned a large piece of land. But now we shifted to nuclear family, by which this 20 persons who lived in a joint family are dividing the land among themselves. So by dividing this land into 20 pieces, each will have only a small piece of land. So the current situation is we are suffering from land fragmentation. Because of this small piece of land, the efficiency, the productivity will be reduced. So the productivity is reduced by this land fragmentation. This is the major issue which we are having. So what we can do to overcome in this issue is we can do land consolidation. What is this land consolidation? So by land consolidation, we can join these small pieces of land holding and form a larger size of land. This is called as land consolidation, and by doing this, we can increase the production, and we can fight this land fragmentation problem. So land consolidation is the one which we can do to fight this land fragmentation problem, because in India, the major issue is land fragmentation. One relating to land. And another one is we have land acquisition. Land acquisition. So land acquisition is nothing but government will acquire our land. Say a farmer is having 20 acres of land so close to the road. So this is his land, and here is road. If the government is in a plan to increase the road, to broaden the road, what happens is, to broaden the road, it requires some land. This portion of land government will acquire from the farmer, and this is called as land acquisition, and it will pay for it. Government will pay for it. This is land acquisition, and there are certain land reforms which you should know. So earlier there is a system called as zamindar. Zamindar will be having a large piece of land, and in that land many peasants and many workers will work on this. To abolish this zamindars, earlier a person called as Vinobhave worked. He worked to abolish zamindars. What he do is, he will be going and he will be talking to zamindars, and he will make zamindars voluntarily give their lands to their workers, voluntarily distribute their lands between poor people. This is what Vinobhave done. But after independence, our government has passed an act relating to it, and it is called as Zamindari Abolition Act. Zamindari Abolition Act 1955. It is done to abolish the zamindars. Why? Because zamindars have a large piece of land, and all other people who are doing agriculture business will be left without land, and they will be forced to work in zamindari's land. To avoid this, they made Zamindari Abolition Act. Under this, we have land ceiling. So land ceiling is nothing but a person can't own greater than certain piece of land mass. So say around, if they say around 250 acres, more than 250 acres a person can't own. But during Zamindar's period, a Zamindar will be owning 1000 acres, more than 1000 acres of land. To stop that, they introduced a land ceiling effect, which means maximum a limit of land can be owned by a person. That is called as land ceiling. Then we have Forest Rights Act. Forest Rights Act. Actually, Forest Rights Act, it gives it gives a document. I don't know exactly. It gives a document and saying that that land belongs to the particular person who are residing in that particular area. Say a tribal people who is residing in this area. He is having a home here and he is doing farming here. And he will be there for more than 75 years, means he will be given this land. He will be given documentation and he will be owning this land if he resided for more than 75 years. This comes under Forest Right Act. Any forest dwellers or scheduled tribes living in a land for more than 75 years, they can get patta for that particular land. That is Forest Rights Act. Third, we have Model Agricultural Land Leasing Act. This is to protect the tenants. Actually, you should note this model. Why it is called as model? Actually, center can't impose agriculture related laws. Why? Because this agri comes under state list. We have three lists which we have already seen in our polity class. One is we have concurrent list, union list and state list. In concurrent list, both center as well as state can enact laws. In state list, only state can enact laws, and in center union list, center can only enact laws. Agri comes under the state list, so only state can enact laws. So if center want to enact something in agriculture, what they do is they do model act. They give a model act, and this model act is there is no compulsion to follow this. But by seeing this act, center can impose a similar act or certain modifications. So center can impose a similar act by seeing this model act. That is why model act are imposed. But the recent scenario is there are three laws which are imposed relating to farming. So there are farming laws which are imposed by the center, but it violates this right. Actually, how it is done is they imposed it on farming produce, not on agriculture directly. That is how it is imposed, and it is a different story. These are the things which are relating to land. And after land, we have seed. We need seed to produce a particular crop. But olden days, we had indigenous seeds. There are many indigenous seeds which India had. Relating to rice, we have more than 30,000 of indigenous seeds. But now, after Green Revolution, we introduced HYV, high yield variety seeds, and because of this, the indigenous seeds, the usage of indigenous seeds has reduced drastically. Because of this, our diversity, our biological diversity is getting affected. This is a basic thing which is relating to seed. And relating seed, generally we use a seed and we produce crops and we get a yield, and from this yield, we store some seeds for future sowing. This seed will be replaced by this seed. This seed is used for producing the yield, and after this, from this certain seeds are produced, and using the seeds we can sow again. This is what generally happens. But now, by the use of this high yield variety seeds and hybrid seeds, the replacement, this replacement is called as seed replacement. This seed replacement is reduced in India because of the use of high yield variety seeds and hybrid seeds. Seed replacement is reduced in India, and this is an issue actually. And in India, relating to seeds, FDA is very important for UPSC Civil Service exam. FDA is foreign direct investment, in which a foreign company can directly come and invest in an Indian company. Foreign company investing in Indian company is called as FDA. Example, we have Hero Honda, in which Hero is an Indian company and Honda is a foreign company. Hero and Honda merged and formed Hero Honda. So a foreign company coming and investing in an Indian company is called as FDA. Relating seeds in FDA, 100% FDA is allowed in India. So 100% means a foreign company can come and invest 100% relating to seeds in India. So relating to seeds, FDA is 100% in India. That is one point. Relating to seeds, and we have seed village concept. Seed village concept is nothing but farmers joining together and they are trying to produce various crops. Seeds, that is called the seed village concept, and those farmers, by this training of producing various seed crops, they can help the nearby villages also by giving seeds. This is called a seed village concept, and we have another concept relating to seed, and it is called a seed banking, in which seed banking is nothing but seed is produced and this seed can be stored in a bank, and that is called the seed village concept. By storing the seeds in bank, what is the uses? By storing it, what we can do is the seeds which we store is actually preserved here. If there is a natural calamity in your village, say there is a great rain and if all the seeds are getting damaged, if you have stored some seeds in the seed bank, then you can go and collect it later, right? This is the advantage of seed banking. To preserve some seeds, we can use seed banking, and by this seed banking, you can preserve large amount of seeds in a very small area, large amount of species. So if you want to preserve a species, by the seed banking concept, you can preserve large amount of species. You can preserve 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 seeds in a very small area, right? This is an advantage of seed banking concept. But the major disadvantages of seed banking concept is, if you are going to use seed banking, we have certain companies which they do seed banking, but what they prefer is they prefer commercial seeds more compared to that of many indigenous and rare seeds. They see it in a profit motive. This is an disadvantage of seed banking. And apart from seed banking and seed replacement village concept, we have green revolution. As I have said, green revolution led to high yield variety seeds. Green revolution has made some disadvantages for India also. Even though it increased the production of food crops, it also done some disadvantages in agriculture. Let us see all those things. Green revolution period is from 1966 to 69, and M.S. Swaminathan is considered as the father of Indian green revolution. And in a world level, we say Norman Borlaug. Norman Borlaug is the father of green revolution, but for India, M.S. Swaminathan is considered as the father of green revolution. And green revolution was done to increase the food production in India, because before the green revolution, there is a great famine in India. So by this famine, many people are dying. So to fight this famine, we need high food production. We need to increase our food production. And during independence, three things we lagged. One is food, second one is technology, and we lacked the capital. These are the things which we lacked the most. So after independence, we focused more on agriculture first. In first year plan also, we focused more on agriculture, right? So we focused more on agriculture and introduced green revolution 1966 to 69. So during this, we introduced high yield variety seeds. And in green revolution, we focused more on wheat, and the secondary focus is given on rice. These are the things which are given more focus on green revolution. By the use of high yield variety seeds, we actually what done is the seed replacement level is reduced, and also the usage of indigenous seeds has got reduced. Because of this, many diverse varieties of rice and wheat which we had came to an extinction. These are the disadvantages of high yield variety seeds. And also by this green revolution, we gave free electricity, free water, free fertilizers, free electricity, and in certain states for watering also we give some incentives. So there are many incentives which are given under this free green revolution. So because of this free electricity, what happens is they will be having a bore, and they will be wasting water more. Because of this free electricity, water is being drained from groundwater, and the groundwater is being exploited in more number because of this free electricity. These are the basic disadvantages which are relating to green revolution, and there is a report by our National Crime Bureau. National Crime Bureau has given a report which said that because of this green revolution, many farmers has committed suicide. This is a report relating to green revolution. So there are disadvantages which we are seeing now, but during that period, because of the green revolution only, our production has increased drastically, and even if we stop our agriculture today, we have food for the next 3 years. The basic rice and wheat we have for the next 3 years. So all this is because of the green revolution which we have done. And then we have GM crops. GM crops is nothing but genetically modified crops. If the crop is genetically modified by some process, it is called as genetically modified crops. A gene of a desired gene from a different species, the animal species can be plant or any bacteria also. A desired gene from other species is introduced into some other species, introduced into a plant, and that plant is called as GM crop, genetically modified crop. Example, we have BT cotton. BT cotton is the only approved GM crop in India. BT means Bacillus thuringiensis. Actually, Bacillus thuringiensis gene is introduced into cotton variety, and this Bacillus thuringiensis gene has resistant to resistant to some worms and resistant to some pest. So because of this, BT cotton also became resistant to certain pests, and because of this, production of cotton has increased. But there are certain drawbacks relating to GM crops also. So by introducing this BT cotton, what happened is more than 70% of the land in India is now, cotton area is under BT cotton cultivation. So because of this, indigenous variety is facing some trouble. Indigenous variety is coming to an extinction because of the usage of this GM crops, and this GM crops is approved by Environmental Protection Act. Actually, this GM crop will come under the Environment Protection Act 1986, and it is approved by the GEAC. GEAC is nothing but Genetically Engineering Appraisal Committee. Environmental Protection Act. So GM crops come under Environmental Protection Act, and GEAC, Genetically Engineering Appraisal Committee, it is the recommendation body, and the final approval, the one who gives final approval for the GM crops is Environmental Ministry. So Environmental Ministry is the one which gives final approval for GM crops, and GEAC is the recommendation body, Genetically Engineering Appraisal Committee, and Environmental Protection Act 1986, under which we have GM crops. So these are the things which are relating to GEAC, and apart from GM crops, we have water. So we've seen two things. One is land, another one is seed. Under seed only we have seen GM crops and green revolution. Third one is we have water. So water, we have 17% of population, population in India, and we have 4% of water and 2.5% of land area. This 4% of water we should use wisely to satisfy the 17% of the population. So under water we have a scheme, that is Pradhan Mantri Krishi Singai Yojana. Pradhan Mantri Krishi Singai Yojana. It is a centrally sponsored scheme. It is a centrally sponsored scheme, means there are two types in which we can say schemes. So one is centrally sponsored scheme, another one is central sector scheme. In central sector scheme, center will itself give 100%. So 100% fund, if it is given by the center, then it is called a central sector scheme. If there is a share, if the percentage of the fund given is shared between the center and state, it is called a centrally sponsored scheme. So Krishi Singai is a centrally sponsored scheme, and this scheme is introduced to improve the irrigation coverage. So it is done to improve the irrigation coverage and to reduce the water leakage. It is done to improve irrigation coverage and to reduce the water leakage. And there are certain pillars of the scheme we have. This is done to finish the ongoing stalled water related projects like construction of dam and other things relating water harvesting, and to distribute water to every farm, and per drop more crop is also one pillar of this PM Krishi Singai Yojana. Per drop more crop means to improve the water usage. So water should be used efficiently. Example, we have micro irrigation, drip irrigation. Because of that, if a plant needs 1 spoon of water, then this drip irrigation and micro irrigation will give the exact amount of water which is needed by the plant, not more than that. So it improves the water usage. So Krishi Shingai Yojana, the important things which are relating to it is to improve the irrigation and to reduce water leakage. And relating to Krishi Shingai Yojana, the main features of it is to complete the stalled water related projects like dam construction and to improve the water harvesting and to distribute water to every farm. Fourth one is per drop more crop. These are the things which are relating to Krishi Shingai Yojana, which comes under agriculture. And then we have fertigation. Fertigation is nothing but soluble fertilizer. If mixed with water, then it is called as fertigation. Fertigation means soluble fertilizer mixed with water. Then we have mulching. Mulching is nothing but agri residues will be placed on the top of the soil to stop irrigated water from running off, to stop the irrigated water from evaporation. So the water is irrigated on the agricultural land, and some agri residues if kept on it, then it will stop the irrigation. So this is done to stop irrigation. Mulching, fertigation, fertilizer plus water. And after this we have fertilizer. Let us go to fertilizer. So we have seen land, seed, water, then fertilizer. In fertilizer we have NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, or the three basic fertilizers which are needed. Three macronutrients which are needed, which are present in the soil. One is nitrogen, another one is phosphorus, another one is potassium. In nitrogen, in India itself produces nitrogen, but for phosphorus we 80 to 85% import phosphorus, and for potassium 100% it is imported. So because of this, what we do is generally the ratio which we should maintain is 4:2:1. But the ratio which we are maintaining in India is 8:3:1. Why? Because this nitrogen is available in India itself. So nitrogen we increase the ratio, and phosphorus 80 to 85% it is imported. Because of this it is 3, and potassium it is 100% imported. Because of this the ratio is left unchanged. So the ratio which is ideal is 4:2:1, but the India's ratio is 8:3:1. Relating to fertilizer, and relating fertilizer we have a subsidy. Earlier in 2010 we gave a subsidy based on the nutrient. Based on the nutrient we gave subsidies. It is called as nutrient based subsidies, which means that if a fertilizer is produced, and if this fertilizer contains nitrogen and phosphorus, for this nitrogen and phosphorus alone subsidies are given, and that is called as nutrient based subsidies. But now what we are doing is, now we are giving based on the production subsidy, based on the distribution subsidy is given, not based on the production but based on the distribution subsidy is given. Here what they do is, if nitrogen and phosphorus is alone present in the given fertilizer, they give subsidy for that particular product. If 1000 tons are produced, then for this 1000 tons subsidies are given. But now what they do is, based on the distribution they give subsidies, which means that in 1000 tons they have produced 1000 tons, and in this 1000 tons if 500 tons is distributed to the farmers, then only for this 500 tons which is distributed for the farmers subsidies are given. So based on the distribution, now subsidies are given to the farmers, which means that if 500 tons are distributed to the farmers, based on it subsidies are given to the producers, fertilizer manufacturers. And we have another one scheme called as Soil Health Card Scheme. Soil Health Card Scheme is introduced in 2015. It gives a report based on the soil health card. They gives a report, and it is valid for 3 years. The land is tested and given a report for 3 years, and based on it, based on the health card, we can select our planting preferences. They give advices on which type of crop can be sowed on the particular land, and which type of fertilizers can be used on that particular land, and seeds which can be used on it. So they give recommendations on how farming can be done on that particular land. That is called a Soil Health Card Scheme, which is introduced on 2015, and that soil will be tested and will be given a report, and should be okay for 3 years. So it is a central sector scheme. Central sector means 100% funded by the central government. So it is a central sector scheme. These are the things which are relating to soil health card scheme. And after that we have Neem coated urea. Neem coated urea is important. It is already asked in UPSC civil service exams. Neem coated urea is nothing but urea. Urea is nothing but it is a fertilizer. This fertilizer is coated with This fertilizer is coated with neem, and that is called as neem coated urea. The main advantage of neem coated urea is that because of coating the urea with neem, what happens is it cannot be used for any other purposes other than agriculture. It cannot be diverted. But generally, before this neem coated urea, what they generally do is they purchase this urea for in the name of agriculture, and they will use it for other purposes. But by the introduction of this neem coated urea, it cannot be used for other purposes other than agriculture. This is an advantage of neem coated urea, and in some cases this neem coated urea can also be used as a pesticide. This neem coated urea will also increase the yield. These are the advantages of neem coated urea. And after this we have pesticide and insecticide. Relating pesticide and insecticide, India is very good in using this pesticide and insecticide, and the usage of pesticide and insecticide is so high in India, and it is so high compared to that of first world. First world is nothing but developed nations. Developed nations like USA, Canada comes under the first world. Comparing to first world, India's usage of pesticide and insecticide is very high, and because of the use of a high amount of pesticide and insecticide, there are around 25% crop loss. So 25% crop loss due to this high amount of pesticide